back to another episode of Dice Daddy. My name is Bobby. For those of you who don't know me, I'm going to be your Dice Daddy today. Today we're going to be talking about mass combat, how that works in your game and what that's going to feel like to your players, and kind of some of the best tricks that I use to handle mass combat in a D&D scenario.
Dice Daddy.
Alright, so, you guys have spent 2 months traveling past the river of Vagabond to the basin of Near Sorrows. You're finally here. In the distance, the sun begins to set, but you can see the torches of all the combatants that are currently fighting right now in front of you. You can hear the iron upon iron and iron hitting flesh and smell the blood in the air as you get closer. In front of you lays a battlefield miles across, expansive, with orcs and humans fighting for their very lives. What would you all like to do? Alright, so we see a big old army in front of us. I guess I'll, as a barbarian, I'm just going to go ahead and run in there. I'm just going to charge him. I'm going to back my boy Snyder up here. We're just going to run in and just start killing things. Yeah. I'm assuming we can kill at least 1,000 before we're done. I'm going to stab all of them. All 1,000 orcs. Stab them. Why am I not surprised that you want to stab things? Thank you for that. Okay. That's a nat 20. That's cool. Those guys on the floor. Okay, and you, okay. Okay. Okay, so we have gotten past our first 2 groups of combatants in 2 hours. Didn't take very long. Guys. So only about 40 more groups to go. Let's keep on rocking. Let's do this. Yeah, mass combat. Love it. Alright, so obviously when it comes to mass combat in D&D, we have to make sure we do a number of things to make sure our players are happy with it, that they're engaged in the mass combat. Now before we get into this, just one disclaimer that I normally do is just set the expectations with your players. Especially if you've never done mass combat at your table before, they probably have no idea what to expect or what to think of or what to do. So set the expectations, so if you choose to use any of the methods I'm about to describe, set that expectation before the game. Alright, so mass combat. There are a number of ways that I do this, and sometimes I'll actually employ all of these ways at the same time to allow everyone a little bit of flavor in their game. So if you're okay with just a hack and slash situation like you saw in the video, that's fine, you know, it's your table, but one thing that I like to do, number 1 first, is a mission-based mass combat. And now what that means is the characters might be given specific requests. Maybe the king needs them to deliver orders to the front line. Maybe they need to go take out an artillery station near the area. And that's specific for the war that's going on. Now, if you do choose a mission-based parameter for mass combat, that's perfectly fine. But keep in mind that whatever they actually do in those missions, they need to actually play into the combat. Otherwise, that combat, that massive battle that's taking place is just all background noise. It's not really helpful for anybody. It's just like a narrative drop on the scene with no engagement. So if they take out the artillery, if they take orders to the actual front lines, make that impact the war in some way. So mission style is one way that I would do that. The second way I would do that is leadership, is the next one that I kind of like to go with. What I mean by that is give your PCs command of a number of troops, a number of armies, and have them battle, using quotation marks, battle an enemy combatant or enemy team. Now this would come down to a basic amount of leadership checks, which would be a skill check challenge. So it could be intimidation, it could be persuasion, where you have them commanding troops and you dictate and narrate the battle based upon those roles that they're doing versus against the actual NPC, the evil commander of his army. So this would be almost a skill challenge between the PC and the NPC, where the actual skills, whether they be survival and persuasion, intimidation, whatever it may be, will directly influence how well that combat goes with the people that they're commanding. So that's two so far. You have mission-based and you have leadership-based. Perfectly fine. Now the last one I'd like to talk about is something that I like to do from time to time, and that's what I call the hack and slash. So like we kind of watched in that video, you have to make sure when you do hack and slash that it's done appropriately. So if you're not going to actually have anything engaging or inviting for the players during that hack and slash moment, then it's not going to be fun for them. So if you do want to put your PCs in the midst of combat, right up in there with forces, then you need to give them some sort of engaging narrative involving that. They could see an enemy on the other side of the field that's commanding these people who they've seen in the past. Maybe it's a PC from their background that they've lost contact with, who's now on the opposing side that they're going to fight. Maybe there is a enemy general that's in the midst of the combat as well, and they're going to go in a one-on-one combat with them in the midst of these battles. Now, those are kind of three ways I break it down, where I do, mission style, where I do leadership style, and just normal hack and slash with that additional narrative engagement on top of that. Now, I personally like to do all three of them and allow the players to choose what they want, but I'll set that expectation at the start. Now, I hope this was helpful for you, and I appreciate you guys and all your support. Have a great night.